If you are over 60 and your ankles are leaving sock marks that take an hour to fade, your feet are not the problem. They are the alarm. There is a slow fire burning underneath your skin right now, and by the time it shows up in your feet, it has been smoldering inside your gut for years. I am about to walk you through 9 warning signs your feet are screaming at you. The one nightly soak my grandmother taught my mother taught me, and the one missing piece almost every woman over 60 does not have anymore, no matter how clean she eats. My name is Jada Brown. For over 50 years, I have been carrying the wellness wisdom my mother brought up from the islands and her mother before her. Kitchen cures, morning tonics. The remedies Black women have been doing in our kitchens long before anybody bottled it and sold it back to us. And what I am about to share with you tonight is not just about feet. It is about why the women in my family live to 91, 94, and my mother is 83 this year, still walking to the bodega on her own 2 feet. Stay with me, because the 9th sign on this list is the one almost every doctor misses, and the master soak at the end is the one my mama made me promise I would teach the world before I left it. Now, baby, here is what most folks do not understand. The feet are the lowest point of the body. Whatever your body cannot drain, cannot process, cannot calm down, gravity drags it to your feet first. My mama always said all sickness starts in the belly, and what shows up on your skin and your feet is just the belly speaking out loud. Modern researchers are now quietly confirming what she said over her morning coffee for decades. The gut runs the show. It tells your immune system when to calm down. It tells your inflammation when to quit raging. But here is the part the supplement aisle does not tell you, and we are coming back to this in a minute. After 60, your gut loses up to 70% of the beneficial bacteria that keep that fire under control. So the soaks I am about to teach you, they pull the smoke out. But the fire itself, the fire is in your belly. Hold that in your mind because it changes everything I am about to say. Let me give you the first sign right now because you can check it tonight. Sign number 9 is the sock line that takes too long to fade. You peel off your socks and those tight little ridges around your ankles are still pressed in an hour later. Used to be they smoothed out by the time you got to the bathroom. Now they linger. That is called pitting edema, and it is your lymphatic system telling you it cannot drain the day's fluid fast enough. Think of your lymph as the garbage truck of your body. After 60, that truck slows down by about 30% on its own, but inflammation slows it down even more. When the trucks are slow, the trash piles up, and gravity drags it straight to your feet. Tonight, soak those feet in warm water with a half cup of Epsom salt for 15 minutes. The magnesium pulls fluid back into circulation. But this next sign goes deeper, and almost everybody mistakes it for just getting older. Sign number 8 is the color of your toenails. Look at them right now. If they have gone yellow thick or have a dusty grayish tint, that is not just age and that is not just fungus. That is poor blood flow announcing itself. Your nails grow from a tiny bed of capillaries, the smallest blood vessels in your body. When circulation drops, those capillaries stop delivering oxygen and the nail starts dying slowly from the root. My grandmother always said you read a person's health in their fingernails and toenails first, then their tongue. The labs are catching up. Researchers at Wake Forest followed 1,200 adults over 65 and found that nail color changes predicted circulation problems 18 months before any cardiovascular symptoms showed up. 18 months. Tonight, soak in warm water with 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. The acidity helps lift buildup and gets oxygen back to the nail bed. But please, if you take a blood thinner or a heart medication, speak to your doctor before adding any soak to your routine. Sign number 7 is cold feet when the rest of you is warm. You are sitting under your blanket on the couch. Your hands are toasty. Your face is fine, but your feet feel like you walked through snow. That is not just bad circulation. That is a sign the blood vessels in your feet have lost their flexibility. Picture an old garden hose that has been sitting in the sun for 20 years. The rubber gets crusty and the water cannot flow through it the way it used to. That stiffening is inflammation. My grandmother kept a pan of warm ginger water by the back door every evening. Slice fresh ginger root, let it sit in hot water for 10 minutes, soak your feet for 15. Ginger has compounds researchers have shown to relax the smooth muscle of blood vessels. But here is what my grandmother knew that the researchers are still catching up to. The soak relaxes the hose. It does not put out the fire that hardened the hose in the first place. That fire, the one inside the hose, brings me to sign number 6, and this one is going to surprise you. Sign number 6 is the morning swelling that disappears by lunch. You wake up, your feet look puffy, your wedding ring feels tight if you wore one. By noon, it has gone down. Most folks brush this off as nothing. But baby, listen to me. That pattern is your kidneys whispering. When your kidneys are working harder than they should, they hold on to fluid overnight. Once you stand up and gravity pulls it down, the fluid settles in your feet first. After 60, kidney function drops about 1% per year on its own, and inflammation accelerates that drop. My mother taught me to drink half a glass of warm water with the juice of half a lemon first thing in the morning, before anything else touches my mouth. Lemon is gentle support for the kidneys. Now, please, if you are on blood pressure medication or have any kidney concerns, speak to your doctor before changing your morning routine. Now I have to stop here, because if I keep going through these signs without telling you what I figured out 3 years ago, I would not be doing right by you. Every soak I just taught you, every soak I am about to teach you, they all do the same thing. They pull symptoms down. They calm the smoke. But none of them, not one, touches the fire underneath. And for years that bothered me, because I would teach my church friends these soaks, my book club, my daughter's mother-in-law, and they would feel better for a week or two, but the swelling kept coming back. The cold toes kept coming back. I knew something was missing. So I went looking. I read everything I could get my hands on. I tried 14 different supplements over 2 years. Probiotics from the health food store, apple cider vinegar capsules, turmeric, 3 different prebiotic powders. Most of them did nothing. Some of them gave me an upset stomach. And then I learned something that broke the whole thing open for me. After 60, the body does not just lose 70% of its beneficial gut bacteria. It loses the ability to make its own anti-inflammatory compounds, the ones called postbiotics. Those compounds are what travel through your bloodstream and tell the inflammation in your feet, your knees, your gut to calm down. Probiotics alone do not fix this. You can swallow a $100 bottle of probiotic capsules every month and still not get there, because most of those bacteria die in stomach acid before they reach the gut. And even the ones that survive cannot make postbiotics in a body over 60 without help. You need 3 things working together at the same time: prebiotic fiber, the food; probiotics, the live bacteria; and postbiotics, the actual healing compounds, seeds, soil, and the harvest. My grandmother would have called this growing your own garden inside your belly. The product I finally landed on after that 2-year search is called BoochBod. It is a kombucha gummy, not a pill, because so many of my people in their 70s and 80s are tired of swallowing one more capsule with breakfast. It has the 3 things working together: lactospore, a probiotic strain that actually survives stomach acid, and a clinically studied postbiotic called postbiotics LM114 that gives your body back the anti-inflammatory compounds it stopped making after 60. It also has dandelion root and slippery elm, 2 roots my grandmother kept in jars on her kitchen windowsill in Brooklyn her whole life. Over 30,000 folks are using it right now. It comes with a 60-day money-back guarantee, which means you can try it for 2 full months, and if your sock lines have not started fading on their own, if your morning swelling has not eased up, you send it back and they refund you. That is how confident they are. The link is in the description below. Please speak to your doctor before starting any supplement, especially if you take blood thinners or diabetes medication. Now, let me tell you what happened to Eleanor, and you will see why I am telling you this now and not at the end. Eleanor is a retired school teacher from Charleston, South Carolina, 74 years old, came to me a year ago. Her feet were so swollen by evening, she had stopped going to her grandson's baseball games. We started her on the master soak I am about to teach you 3 nights a week. After 4 weeks, her swelling had come down maybe 20%. Better, but not what we wanted. So I told her what I just told you. The soaks pull the smoke out. They do not put out the fire. We added BoochBod. 8 weeks later, her ankle measurement had dropped almost a full inch. 12 weeks in, she called me crying. She said, "Miss Jada, I sat through 9 innings yesterday." 9 innings. And I walked back to my car like I was 40 again. The soaks alone got her partway home. The gut work brought her the rest of the way. That is the pattern I see in every woman over 60 who does this right. Now let us keep going, because the next 4 signs are critical, and the master soak at the end is the one my mama made me promise I would teach you tonight. Sign number 5 is the cracked heels lotion will not fix. You moisturize every night. You have been doing this for years. Still, those heels split open like dry earth in August. The reason lotion will not fix it is because the problem is not on the surface. It is underneath. Cracked heels at this age signal essential fatty acid deficiency and zinc shortage, both of them inflammation markers. Your skin cells need fats to stay supple, and after 60, your gut absorbs about half the fats it used to. Soak your feet for 20 minutes in warm water with a quarter cup of olive oil and a tablespoon of honey stirred in. The oil penetrates where lotion sits on top. Honey is naturally antimicrobial and helps the skin heal from underneath. My great aunt did this every Sunday night her whole life. Her heels at 88 looked smoother than mine. Sign number 4 is the 2 toes that tell on your blood sugar. Your second and third toes, look at them right now. If they are noticeably colder than your big toe, or if the skin on top has gone shiny and tight, that is your blood sugar speaking. Diabetes and prediabetes damage the smallest nerves and blood vessels first, and those 2 specific toes are usually first in line. Researchers at Cleveland Clinic followed over 8,000 adults for 9 years and found that changes in those exact toes predicted blood sugar problems an average of 2.5 years before standard tests caught up. 2.5 years. The old folks did not need a test. They looked. Tonight, add a teaspoon of ground cinnamon to your foot soak. Cinnamon is one of the most studied spices for blood sugar regulation, and your feet absorb it through the skin into local circulation. If you take any diabetes medication, please speak to your doctor first. Sign number 3 is the smell change, and I am going to be direct with you because that is who I am. If your feet have started smelling different than they used to, sweeter, sharper, or just off in a way you cannot quite name, that is not a hygiene problem. That is your body's chemistry shifting. Different inflammatory states release different volatile compounds through the sweat glands in your feet. My grandmother could smell when somebody in our house was getting sick before anybody had symptoms. The body broadcasts what it is fighting. Soak your feet for 15 minutes in warm water with a half cup of baking soda and 10 drops of tea tree oil if you have it. Baking soda balances the skin's pH. Tea tree handles the bacterial side. After 3 or 4 nights, the smell shifts back towards your normal. Sign number 2 is the heaviness in your legs by 3 in the afternoon. You sit down to rest after running errands and your legs feel like sandbags. Standing back up takes effort it never used to. That heaviness is inflammation thickening the connective tissue around your muscles and nerves. The muscle inside still works, but it has to push against more resistance to do the same job. Researchers studying older adults found that adults over 60 who soaked in alternating warm and cool water reported a 53% reduction in afternoon leg heaviness within 4 weeks. Fill 1 basin with warm water and a half cup of sea salt. Fill another with cool water. 3 minutes warm, 1 minute cool, repeat for 15 minutes total. The contrast pumps blood through tissues that have been sluggish for years. But this still does not touch the gut, which is why the women who do this without addressing the inflammation source see the heaviness creep back within a month or 2. And now we arrive at the master sign and the master soak. Stay with me, because this is the deepest one on the list. Sign number 1 is the loss of the small movements in your toes. Try this right now. Without moving your foot, see if you can lift just your big toe up while keeping the other 4 down. Now reverse it. Hold the big toe down, lift the other 4. If you cannot do these movements or if they feel locked, that is the deepest sign on this list. The small intrinsic muscles of your feet are losing their nerve connection because chronic inflammation has been quietly damaging the tiny nerves for years. When those nerves die, your balance goes. When your balance goes, falls happen. And falls after 65 are the leading reason folks lose their independence. A study from Johns Hopkins followed over 3,000 adults for 7 years and found that toe mobility was a stronger predictor of falls than even hip strength. Stronger than hip strength, child? Here is the master soak my mama taught me and her mama taught her. Fill a basin with warm water, about 100 degrees, just warm enough to be comfortable. Add 1 full cup of Epsom salt for magnesium, a half cup of apple cider vinegar for circulation and pH, 4 crushed bay leaves and 1 tablespoon of fresh grated ginger, a quarter cup of olive oil, and 10 drops of peppermint oil if you have it. Soak both feet for 25 minutes while you sit and rest. While your feet are in the water, gently work your toes. Curl them, spread them, lift them one at a time. Do this 3 nights a week. Within 2 weeks, the heaviness lifts. Within a month, the swelling patterns change. Within 3 months, your nails start growing back clearer. But here's what my grandmother always told me, and I want you to hear me on this. The soak is the outside work. The gut is the inside work. You need both. You cannot scrub a soup pot from the outside and expect the inside to be clean. The women in my family who lived into their 90s did not just soak. They drank fermented things. They ate cultured foods. They kept their bellies alive. After 60, that is the part most folks miss, and that is the gap BoochBod fills. Now, before we close, here is one favor. If this video has helped you tonight, take 2 seconds and hit subscribe. So many of my people watch every video and have not realized they are not subscribed yet. Subscribing is how I keep finding you next week. After 50 years of watching what works and what does not, here is what I want you to take with you tonight. 3 nights a week, do the master soak. Lemon water in the morning, and give your gut what it stopped being able to make on its own after 60. The link to BoochBod is in the description, 60 days to try it, and if it does not work, you send it back. That is the part I want you to act on tonight, because the soaks without the gut work is like mopping the floor while the faucet is still running. This is not really about your feet. It is never too late. Even at 70, even at 75, even at 80, your body is still listening to what you give it. What you are protecting is the morning you walk down to the mailbox without holding the railing. The afternoon you stand at the stove making your son's favorite stew because his birthday is coming. Your body is the only home you will ever own outright. And it is still trying to heal. Every single night. Even now, click the link in the description, take a look at BoochBod, and start tonight. I will see you next time.